The rain hammered against the window, a relentless drumbeat that mirrored the chaos in Elena's heart. She stood frozen in the dim light of her Seattle apartment, her breath catching as Sophia's hand brushed hers, sending a jolt through her body. In that fleeting touch, the world shifted, and Elena knew she was standing on the edge of something dangerous, beautiful, and utterly forbidden. Elena Harper, 23, had always lived her life in careful lines. Raised in a small, conservative town in Idaho, she'd learned early to keep her head down, her dreams small, and her heart locked away. Moving to Seattle for grad school was her first act of rebellion, a chance to escape the suffocating expectations of her family. But even here, in a city that pulsed with freedom, she felt like an outsider, her quiet demeanor and soft brown eyes hiding a storm she didn't dare unleash. Her apartment, a cramped but cozy space in Capitol Hill, was her sanctuary until Sophia moved in. Sophia Vega, 24, was everything Elena wasn't. Bold, unapologetic, with a laugh that filled rooms and green eyes that seemed to see straight through you, Sophia was a whirlwind. She'd arrived 3 months ago, a last-minute roommate to split the rent, bringing with her a suitcase of thrift store clothes, a guitar, and a presence that made the air hum. From the moment she walked in, Elena felt Ida pull. A spark, something she couldn't name but couldn't ignore. Sophia was a painter, her canvases bursting with color, her life a canvas of its own, painted in fearless strokes. She was openly queer, wearing her identity like a badge, while Elena, raised on sermons and shame, had never dared to question the feelings stirring inside her. That first night, Sophia had sprawled on the couch, strumming her guitar, her voice low and teasing. "You're too quiet, Elena. What's going on in that head of yours?" Elena had blushed, muttering something about schoolwork, but Sophia's smile had lingered, like she knew something Elena didn't. Over the weeks, their lives tangled, shared coffee runs, late-night talks about art and dreams, Sophia's hand lingering too long when passing a mug. Elena told herself it was nothing, just friendship, but her heart raced every time Sophia's gaze held hers a beat too long. Now on this rainy October evening, the air was thick with tension. They'd been watching a movie, some indie flick Sophia had picked, but Elena couldn't focus. The room felt too small, the couch too close. Sophia's knee brushed hers, and when Elena flinched, Sophia turned, her eyes searching. "You okay?" she asked, her voice soft but laced with something deeper. Elena nodded, her throat tight. "Yeah, just tired." Sophia didn't buy it. She never did. "You're a terrible liar," she said, leaning closer, her breath warm against Elena's cheek. "Talk to me, Elle." The nickname, so casual, so intimate, sent a shiver down Elena's spine. She wanted to run, to hide from the feelings crashing over her like waves. But Sophia's hand found hers, fingers intertwining, and Elena couldn't move. "I don't know what's wrong with me," she whispered, her voice breaking. I'm not like you." Sophia's eyes softened, but there was a fire in them too. "Like me how?" she asked, her thumb brushing over Elena's knuckles. "You think I don't see the way you look at me? The way you blush when I get close?" Elena's heart stopped. She wanted to deny it, to laugh it off, but the truth was a weight she couldn't carry anymore. "I'm scared," she admitted, her voice barely audible over the rain. I don't know how to do this." Sophia's smile was gentle, but her grip tightened. "You don't have to know, Elle. You just have to feel." The words hung between them, heavy with promise. Elena's mind screamed to pull away, to cling to the safety of her old life, but her body betrayed her, leaning closer. Sophia's hand cupped her cheek, and for a moment, the world was just them, two hearts, one truth, no rules. Then Sophia kissed her. It was soft at first, tentative like a question. Elena froze, her mind a whirlwind of fear and want, but her lips moved against Sophia's, answering. The kiss deepened, urgent, hungry, and Elena felt herself unraveling, every wall she'd built crumbling under Sophia's touch. When they pulled apart, gasping, Elena's eyes were wide, her hands trembling. "Sophia, she started, but Sophia pressed a finger to her lips. "Don't say anything," Sophia murmured. "Just stay with me. Right here." Elena nodded, tears stinging her eyes. She didn't know what this meant, didn't know how to navigate the path ahead. But in that moment, with Sophia's arms around her, she felt alive for the first time. The days that followed were a blur of stolen glances and secret touches. Elena was torn between euphoria and dread, her heart soaring when Sophia smiled but plummeting when she thought of her family, her past, the world outside their apartment. Sophia, sensing her struggle, was patient but persistent, drawing Elena out with late-night talks and quiet moments that felt like promises. They cooked together, Sophia teasing Elena about her terrible knife skills, and danced to old records in the living room, Sophia's hands on Elena's waist, guiding her through the steps. But the outside world wasn't as kind. Elena's phone buzzed with texts from her mother, asking when she'd visit, reminding her of the church picnic back home. Each message was a reminder of the life she'd left, the expectations waiting to pull her back. She hadn't told Sophia about her family, about the sermons that called love like there's a sin. She couldn't. Not yet. One night, as they lay tangled in Elena's bed, Sophia's head on her chest, Elena stared at the ceiling, her mind racing. "What happens if this doesn't work?" she whispered. "What if I can't be this person?" Sophia lifted her head, her eyes fierce. "You're already this person, Elle. You're just figuring out how to let her out. And I'm not going anywhere." Elena wanted to believe her, but fear was a heavy chain. She pulled Sophia closer, burying her face in her hair, and prayed the world wouldn't tear them apart. The weeks slipped by, each day a delicate dance between courage and doubt. Elena woke to Sophia's soft humming in the kitchen, the smell of coffee filling their apartment, and felt a warmth she'd never known. But the shadow of her past loomed, threatening to unravel the fragile happiness she'd found. Sophia was a force of nature, her confidence a beacon for Elena. They explored Seattle together, wandering Pike Place Market, Sophia's hand slipping into Elena's as they dodged tourists and sampled fresh fruit. At night they'd curl up on the couch, Sophia sketching while Elena read. Their silence comfortable but electric. Every touch, every glance was a step deeper into a world Elena had never dared imagine. But with each step, the weight of her secret grew heavier. Elena hadn't told Sophia about her family's beliefs, about the preacher father who quoted scripture like law, or the mother who prayed for Elena's purity every night. She hadn't told her about the guilt that clawed at her, the voice in her head whispering that this love was wrong. She wanted to be brave like Sophia, but bravery felt like a luxury she couldn't afford. One crisp November afternoon, they went to a local art gallery where Sophia's paintings were on display. Elena watched her move through the crowd, charming strangers with her quick wit and easy smile. A woman in a sharp blazer approached Sophia, praising her work, and Elena felt a pang of pride in something else. Jealousy? Insecurity? She couldn't name it, but it burned. Later, as they walked home, Sophia noticed Elena's quiet mood. "What's up, Elle? You've been off all day." Elena hesitated, her breath visible in the cold air. "That woman at the gallery. She was flirting with you." Sophia laughed, stopping to face her. "You're jealous? That's adorable." "It's not funny," Elena snapped, her voice sharper than she meant. I don't know how to do this, Sophia. You're so sure of yourself and I'm a mess." Sophia's smile faded, replaced by a look of quiet intensity. She stepped closer, her hands framing Elena's face. "You're not a mess. You're figuring yourself out, and that's messy for everyone. But you're mine, Elle. I'm not looking at anyone else." The words should have soothed her, but they didn't. Elena pulled away, her heart racing. "You don't get it. This isn't just about us. It's about everything. My family, my life back home. They'd never accept this. They'd never accept me." Sophia's eyes darkened, but she didn't push. "You don't have to tell me until you're ready. But I'm here, okay? I'm not running." Elena nodded, but the fear didn't loosen its grip. That night, she lay awake, Sophia's steady breathing beside her, and felt the walls closing in. She loved Sophia God. She loved her, but love felt like a battlefield, and she wasn't sure she could fight. The next morning, Elena's phone rang. Her mother's name flashed on the screen, and her stomach dropped. She let it go to voicemail, but the message was waiting when she checked. "Elena, we're coming to visit next week. Your father wants to see how you're settling in. Call me back." Panic seized her. Her parents in Seattle, in this apartment, where Sophia's paintings lined the walls and their lives were tangled in ways she couldn't hide. She thought of her father's stern face, his voice thundering about sin, and her mother's quiet disappointment. She hadn't told them about Sophia, hadn't even hinted at it. How could she? Sophia noticed her distress immediately. "What's wrong?" she asked, setting down her coffee mug. "My parents are coming," Elena said, her voice hollow. "Next week." Sophia's face fell, but she recovered quickly. "Okay. We'll figure it out. Do they know about us?" Elena shook her head, tears welling. "They can't. They'd hate me." Sophia's jaw tightened, but she pulled Elena into her arms. "They don't get to define you, Elle. No one does." But Elena wasn't so sure. The week before her parents' arrival was a blur of anxiety. She cleaned the apartment obsessively, hiding Sophia's more vibrant paintings, tucking away anything that felt too personal. Sophia watched, her silence heavy with hurt, but she didn't argue. "I'll stay out of the way," she said finally. "If that's what you need." Elena wanted to protest, to say she didn't want Sophia to hide, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, she nodded, and the distance between them grew. When her parents arrived, Elena felt like a stranger in her own skin. Her father, a tall man with a preacher's gravitas, surveyed the apartment with a critical eye, while her mother fussed over Elena's appearance. "You look tired, sweetheart," she said, her voice laced with concern. "Are you eating enough?" The visit was a tightrope. Elena avoided mentioning Sophia, who'd made herself scarce, staying with a friend for the weekend. But her parents' presence filled the apartment with memories of her old life church services, family dinners, the weight of their expectations. At dinner, her father asked about her studies, her plans, her faith. "You're not getting lost in this city, are you?" he said, his tone heavy with warning. Elena forced a smile. "No, Dad. I'm fine." But she wasn't. That night, alone in the apartment, she curled up on the couch, Sophia's absence a physical ache. She missed her laugh, her warmth, the way she made everything feel possible. For the first time, Elena realized how much she'd come to rely on Sophia not just as a lover, but as a lifeline. When Sophia returned, Elena was waiting. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice breaking. "I didn't know how to handle this. I'm scared, Sophia. I'm so scared of losing them. But I'm more scared of losing you." Sophia's eyes softened, and she pulled Elena close. "You're not losing me. But you've got to decide who you're living for, Elle, them or you." The question hung over Elena like a storm cloud. Who was she living for? Sophia's words echoed in her mind, a challenge she wasn't ready to face. But the more she tried to push them away, the louder they grew, drowning out the voices of her past. Winter settled over Seattle, blanketing the city in gray. Elena and Sophia fell back into their rhythm, but something had shifted. Sophia was still warm, still patient, but there was a new caution in her eyes, a question she didn't voice. "Are you all in?" Elena wanted to be, but every time she tried to imagine a future with Sophia, her family's faces loomed, their disapproval a weight she couldn't shake. One evening, Sophia dragged Elena to a queer open mic night at a local bar. The room was packed, the air thick with laughter and music. Elena felt out of place, her hands fidgeting as she watched performers share poetry and stories about love, identity, and freedom. Sophia, at home in the crowd, cheered loudly, her arm around Elena's shoulders. When a poet spoke about coming out to her religious family, Elena's chest tightened. The words hit too close, stirring the guilt she'd buried. After the event, they walked home through the drizzle, Sophia's hand in hers. "What did you think?" Sophia asked, her voice light but searching. "It was intense," Elena said, avoiding her gaze. "All those stories. They make it sound so easy." Sophia stopped, turning to face her. "It's not easy, Elle. It's messy and scary, and sometimes it hurts like hell. But it's worth it to live your truth." Elena's throat tightened. "What if my truth costs me everything?" Sophia's eyes held hers, steady and unyielding. "Then you build something new. With people who love you for you." The words were a lifeline, but Elena wasn't ready to grab it. She changed the subject and Sophia let her, but the conversation lingered, a seed planted in Elena's heart. Christmas approached and with it another test. Elena's parents expected her home for the holidays, a tradition she'd never missed. But the thought of leaving Sophia, of pretending to be the daughter they wanted, felt like betrayal. She hadn't told Sophia about the trip, hoping to avoid the conversation, But Sophia noticed her unease. "You're going home, aren't you?" Sophia asked one night, her voice quiet as they washed dishes together. Elena froze, sponge in hand. "I have to. It's Christmas." Sophia nodded, her jaw tight. "You don't have to do anything, Elle. You get to choose." The words stung, but Elena didn't argue. She booked her flight, her heart heavy with dread. The night before she left, Sophia was distant, her usual warmth replaced by a quiet resignation. Elena wanted to fix it, to promise she'd come back unchanged, but she didn't know how. Idaho was a time capsule. The small town, the church, her parents' house site was all exactly as she'd left it. But Elena wasn't. She sat through her father's sermons, her mother's questions, feeling like a ghost in her own life. At night, she texted Sophia, her messages full of apologies and longing. Sophia's replies were short but kind, and each one made Elena ache. On Christmas Eve, her father pulled her aside. "You've been different, Elena," he said, his voice low. "Distant. Is something going on in Seattle?" Her heart pounded. She wanted to tell him, to spill everything about Sophia, about the love that made her feel alive. But his eyes, so like her own, held a warning she knew too well. "Just school, Dad," she lied. "It's a lot." He nodded, but she saw the doubt. When she returned to Seattle, Sophia was waiting at the airport, her smile tentative. They didn't speak much on the drive home, but when they reached the apartment, Sophia pulled her into a fierce hug. "I missed you," she whispered. "I missed you too," Elena said, her voice breaking. "I don't know how to do this, Sophia. I don't know how to be me and keep them." Sophia pulled back, her eyes fierce. "You don't have to choose between them and you. You choose you, and the people who love you will stay." Elena wanted to believe her, but the fear was a living thing, clawing at her resolve. The next few weeks were a balancing act. Sophia pushed gently, encouraging Elena to explore her identity, to meet her queer friends, to attend more events. Each step felt like a leap, but Sophia was there, her hand steady in Elena's. Then came the letter. It arrived in late January, a handwritten note from Elena's mother. "We're worried about you," it read. "Your father found some of your roommates' artwork online. We need to talk." Elena's blood ran cold. She hadn't realized her father had been digging, hadn't thought Sophia's public Instagram, full of vibrant queer-themed art, could reach him. The letter was a summons, a demand for answers she wasn't ready to give. She showed it to Sophia, her hands shaking. Sophia read it, her face unreadable. "What do you want to do?" she asked. "I don't know," Elena whispered. "I can't lose them. But I can't lose you either." Sophia's eyes softened, but there was a new edge to her voice. "You're going to have to decide, Elle. I love you, but I can't keep waiting for you to choose yourself." The letter sat on the kitchen counter like a bomb, its presence a constant reminder of the choice Elena couldn't escape. She loved Sophia with a fierceness that scared her, but the thought of her parents' rejection was a knife to the heart. She spent days in a fog, her mind replaying her mother's words, her father's sermons, Sophia's steady gaze. Sophia, for her part, gave Elena space but not distance. She was still there, cooking breakfast, leaving notes on the fridge, her touch gentle but cautious. One night, as they sat on the couch, Sophia broke the silence. "I'm not going to push you, Elle, but I need to know where you stand. I can't be your secret forever." Elena's chest ached. "I don't want you to be a secret. I need time." Sophia nodded, but her eyes were tired. "I've given you time. I'll give you more. But I need you to fight for this for us." The words were a spark, igniting something in Elena. She didn't want to lose Sophia, didn't want to lose herself. But the path to courage was littered with fear, and she wasn't sure she could walk it. In early February, Elena made a decision. She called her parents, her hands trembling as she dialed. "I need to tell you something," she said when her mother answered. "But I need you to listen, really listen." Her mother's voice was cautious. "Of course, sweetheart. What is it?" Elena took a breath, her heart pounding. "I'm in love. With my roommate. Her name is Sophia." The silence on the other end was deafening. When her mother spoke, her voice was tight. "Elena, you know what the Bible says. This isn't right." "I know what you believe," Elena said, her voice steady despite the tears. But this is who I am. I love her, Mom. And I need you to try to understand. Her father got on the phone, his voice cold. This is a choice, Elena. A sin. You can come home, and we'll help you fix this. There's nothing to fix, Elena said, her voice breaking. I'm not broken. The call ended with her father's ultimatum. Come home or don't come back. Elena hung up, sobbing, and Sophia was there, holding her, whispering that she was enough, that she was enough. The next weeks were a whirlwind of pain and healing. Elena grieved the family she might lose, but Sophia was her anchor, her light. They started going to a local queer support group, where Elena met others who'd faced similar struggles. Their stories gave her strength, a reminder that she wasn't alone. Sophia was there through it all, her love unwavering, her patience a gift Elena didn't feel she deserved. One night at a queer art event, Elena saw Sophia in her element, her paintings vibrant against the gallery walls. A crowd gathered around her, but Sophia's eyes found Elena's, and she crossed the room, pulling her into a kiss that silenced the world. For the first time, Elena didn't care who saw. She was done hiding. But the past wasn't done with her. A week later, her father showed up at the apartment unannounced. Elena opened the door, her heart in her throat. He stood there, his face a mask of anger and pain. We need to talk, he said. Sophia stepped forward, her hand on Elena's back. She's not alone, she said, her voice firm. Her father's eyes flicked to Sophia, then back to Elena. This is your choice, then? This lifestyle. It's not a lifestyle, Elena said, her voice stronger than she felt. It's my life. And I choose her. Her father's face hardened, but there was a crack in his resolve, a flicker of something like fear. You're throwing away your family, he said. No, Elena said, tears streaming down her face. I'm building one. He left without another word, and Elena collapsed into Sophia's arms, the weight of her choice both heavy and liberating. She'd lost something, but she'd gained herself. Spring came, and with it a new beginning. Elena and Sophia grew closer, their love a quiet strength. Elena started writing, pouring her story into poetry, her words raw and honest. She shared them at the open mic nights, her voice shaking but clear, and Sophia cheered louder than anyone. One evening as they sat on their balcony, watching the city lights, Sophia took Elena's hand. I'm proud of you, she said. You're braver than you know. Elena smiled, her heart full. I'm still scared sometimes. But I'm not running anymore. Sophia kissed her slow and deep, and Elena knew she'd found her home not in a place, but in a person, in a love that was hers to claim. The Seattle skyline glittered below, a tapestry of light against the spring dusk. Elena leaned against Sophia, their hands intertwined, the world feeling both vast and intimate. She'd chosen herself, chosen Sophia, and though the road had been brutal, she was finally free. The months after her father's visit were a journey of rebuilding. Elena threw herself into her writing, her poetry becoming a bridge between her past and her future. She published a piece in a local queer magazine, her words about love and loss resonating with readers she'd never meet. Each word was a step toward owning her truth, and Sophia was there, her biggest supporter, her fiercest love. They faced challenges together. Elena's parents stopped calling, their silence a wound that lingered. But she found a new family in Sophia's friends, in the queer community that welcomed her with open arms. She learned to laugh again, to dance without fear, to love without shame. Sophia's art flourished too, her paintings selling at galleries, her passion a light that drew people in. One day, a letter arrived not from her parents, but from her younger sister Mia. I read your poem, it said. I'm proud of you. I don't understand everything, but I want to. Can we talk? Elena cried as she read it, hope blooming in her chest. She called Mia, and their conversation was tentative but real, a thread of connection she hadn't dared hope for. On their one-year anniversary, Sophia surprised Elena with a picnic on a hill overlooking the city. They spread a blanket under the stars, the air warm with the promise of summer. Sophia pulled out her guitar, playing a song she'd written for Elena, her voice soft and full of love. Elena listened, tears in her eyes, and when the song ended, she kissed Sophia, her heart overflowing. I was lost before you, Elena said, her voice steady. You took me and made me yours, but you also made me mine. Sophia smiled, her eyes shining. We're each other's, Al. Always. They lay back on the blanket, the stars above them a map of their future. Elena knew there would be more battles. Her parents might never come around, and the world could be cruel, but she was ready. With Sophia by her side, she could face anything. Their love was a revolution, quiet but fierce, a testament to the power of choosing yourself. Elena had walked through fire to get here, but she'd emerged stronger, whole and unapologetically hers. And as Sophia's hand found hers under the stars, she knew this was only the beginning. Thank you for listening. Like and subscribe to get notifications about next videos.